in all. With Shailendra Mishra in Delhi, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
In Assam, 1,615 cadres of all the four factions of the National Democratic Front of Bodoland laid down their arms before the Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal in Guwahati today. They included 836 cadres from two factions of the Progressive, 579 cadres of the Ranjan Daimari group, 200 members of the Saraigwara faction, and Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal said that it proved that the NDFB wants permanent peace in the state. He thanked the Prime Minister and also the Home Minister for the accord.
Over 1,500 cadres of the all four factions of the National Democratic Front of Bodoland laying down arms in Guwahati in the presence of Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal and Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma. They belong to the factions who signed a peace treaty, the Bodo Accord, with the government on Monday.
We have signed an historic accord on 27 January 2020, and today we are laying down our weapons, and it is a historic day, and we expect that a new beginning of peace and unity, harmony and development will.
आज एक ऐतिहासिक दिन है। हम आशा करते हैं कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का जो हिस्ट्री है, इतिहास है, वो उसका एक इम्पोर्टेंट डे में ये खत्म हो रहा है।
This was the second surrender ceremony in the state this month. The Assam government has assured that the new treaty would not hamper the interests of the non-Bodo people staying in the Bodoland Territorial Council area. Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal thanked Prime Minister for this accord.
खास इस अवसर पर असम की जनता की तरफ से देश के हमारे आदर्शवादी नेता प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को और गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी को आभार व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं। उन लोगों ने हमें जो मदद किया और उनकी दिल में असम के लिए जो सद्भावना बसा हुआ है, वो चाहते हैं कि असम प्रगति करे, असम आगे बढ़े, नॉर्थ ईस्ट आगे बढ़े।
असम का भौगोलिक अखंडता, टेरिटोरियल इंटीग्रिटी का साथ, मैक्सिमम डिवोल्यूशन ऑफ पावर का साथ, बोडोलैंड में मैक्सिमम डिवोल्यूशन ऑफ पावर का साथ आज ये शांति सूक्ति मोदी जी और अमित शाह जी ने समापन किया।
Hailing the move, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter. In a series of tweets, he said, and I quote, "As India remembers Pujya Bapu on his Punya Tithi, Assam is witnessing a historic chapter for peace and development. After a wait of 50 years, an agreement with our Bodo friends heralds a new beginning. It will strengthen Assam's unity, bring development and usher in a bright future." After signing this historic agreement with Bodo organizations, foremost priority of our government is development of Bodo areas. Work has begun on a comprehensive 1,500 crore rupees package. A special focus will be on ease of living and ensuring that Bodos benefit fully from government schemes. Bodo friends joining us on the path of peace send a clear message that the solution to issues is possible when we leave the path of violence and repose faith in democracy and the constitution. I welcome my Bodo friends to the mainstream. The accord between the Bodo groups and the government will strengthen unity and integrity of Assam. The accord with our Bodo friends is a message to Assam and other violence-affected parts of the country. The nation's development can be given momentum only in an environment free of violence and fear. The accord with our Bodo friends was made while protecting the interests of other communities of Assam. It is inspired by the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas, and by the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. The central government, state government, Bodoland Territorial Council, All Bodo Students Union, Govinda Basumatari faction, Dhirendra Bodo faction, Ranjan Doimari faction and Sauraigura faction of the NDFB and the United Bodo People's Organization are party to the 2020 agreement. The demand for a separate Bodoland is more than 50 years old and has resulted in extensive violence and the loss of hundreds of lives. Over the years, the agreement of 2020 is the culmination of extensive negotiations and discussions held by the government. It brings together various stakeholders in the Bodoland movement, including both the armed groups and civil society groups. The 1993 and 2003 Bodo agreements were not able to find a lasting solution to the Bodoland issue. With Duina Burwa in Guwahati, News Night Desk, DD India.
So let's try and understand the key facets of the Bodo Accord. Let's look at from the point of view of enhanced security. Well, it greatly improves the areas of Bodoland Territorial Council. So that is obviously when people come on board, it gives them more security. There's greater enhanced powers also for the Bodoland Territorial Council. We heard there as much power as that can be devolution that can happen, has happened, so that also increases their security. Also, protection of the socio-linguistic identity of the Bodo is extremely important, and who can protect it best but themselves. So the devolution of powers on key projects, that's key, because what are these projects? There are big projects in the area: rural electrification, non-conventional energy. These are the kind of projects now that have been devolved, solar, renewable, and mini hydel projects. The powers also include the financial powers. There's rehabilitation of cadres, complete rehabilitation of all these NDFB cadres that surrendered. They're completely rehabilitated. The Prime Minister has welcomed them into the mainstream. Protection of land rights of tribals. You know, that's important, because at the end of the day, in all these identity politics, the protection of the rights of the tribals is extremely important, and that maintains the socio-linguistic autonomy, in a sense, of these regions. Now, under Article 14 of the 6th schedule, there is also a commission that has been set up, and this commission consists of representatives of the state, of the ABSU, the Bodoland Territorial Council, as well as these are the people who are represented. Now, the Bodo Kachari Welfare Council will also be formed. These are other provisions of the Bodo Accord. So that's another council that will be formed. Concerns of the Bodos living outside of the area, that will be addressed, of the territorial area. Now, the Bodo language is also now being made an associate official language of the state. So it is an official language of the state, and there is a directorate for Bodo medium schools. A separate directorate has been set up for schools in Bodo medium, and there's also a post, a DIG level post that has been created for the Bodo territorial administrated areas. So that is what has happened. Now, what are the other provisions? There's rupees 5 lakh for the kin of those killed in the violence that has happened. That's also important, the next of kin. Let's look at some of the other things that the government has been doing in this area. You know, just recently, this month itself, the Prime Minister, I beg your pardon, the Home Ministry had ended the 22-year-old Bru refugee crisis with an agreement with the concerned parties that facilitates the Bru resettlement into Tripura. The Brus, as we know, they were in Mizoram. They had moved out. They had to resettle from Mizoram. 34,000 families had to resettle, and this is from 5,300 families. In fact, 34,000 refugees had to resettle from Mizoram. They were forced to migrate because of conditions that prevailed in 1997. So that was also another thing that has been sorted out in this area in the recent past itself. Some of the important significant decisions. Besides that, there have also been some decisions that have been taken with regard to this area, and we hope to have them on our screens in a little while. Yes, here it is. We can see here that steps to promote Northeast. We've seen that the Home Ministry has ended the 22-year-old Bru refugee crisis that happened this month, as we said earlier. Now, the government, the donor ministry, has put in place a 100 days action plan. It's worth about 3,000 crore rupees after the government had come into power. Sanction, start, complete, operationalize about 200 projects that were there in that area. Average of 2 projects for about 30 crore rupees per day, that is. So there's quick movement on development in this area, and the